Yep, sounded good here. Yep, sounded good here. Yep, sounded good here. Oops.
Yeah, just make sure your monitor.
Yeah, I got it.
So welcome. That little video I just put together today, and that's the a tune off my latest album, by the way, if anyone's interested. And
Cool.
yeah, so it's good to have everyone here. We have a few familiar faces that have joined us in the past, and they're back again. Janos and Peter Wolf specifically. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you all. And basically, the first off, I'd just like to say that we do have a year-end event happening next week, Saturday. Um, so I encourage anyone who's in town to check that out. It's going to be at the Smith House, 171 College Street. I'm sharing on the YouTube and Twitch the flyer. So we've got two MCs, and both of them are, well, Caddy is a legend. He's been in the Toronto scene, I can say from the early 90s, but I think he started his career actually even in the 80s. And he's been really a fixture of the drum and bass scene. And he's a real professional, and it's a real honor to have him join us. And if that wasn't enough, we have Bandit MC joining us, and he honestly is, in my opinion and many other people's opinion, the best drum and bass MC in the Toronto area, Ontario, I would say even Canada. Uh, so it's definitely an honor to have both those MCs with us. And in addition, we have DJ Dextra doing a vinyl and digital set. So he started off as a hip hop scratch DJ back in the day. He told me this the other day, and it I can tell it shows when he DJs because he's extremely, as the name suggests, dexterous. And so he'll be mixing up both the vinyl and the digital, and he's got like vinyl only dub plates, so music that's not even released onto digital format. So I mean, that's going to be awesome. I'll be throwing down a set. We've got
What time are you on, Lenny?
I'll be going on pretty early. So the event starts at 9. So Thomas, aka BP Bloops, who's with us here, is going to start things off with a hardware set. So I encourage everyone to get there as soon as the door opens because we don't want to miss that. I'll be going on after him, and then Dextra, and then we'll have to close things off. Everfresh from London, Ontario. He's a full-time DJ, so he makes his living DJing, and he typically spins like hip hop, reggae, and R&B. But he's no stranger to drum and bass and jungle, so he's gonna mix things up. So he's gonna be heavier on the. Oh, okay. I'll let Richard in here. Sorry about that. He's gonna be heavier on the drum and bass and jungle, but he's gonna be mixing in some reggae and some other like I say hip hop tunes as well. He's kind of like the Jazzy Jeff, if you know that name. So, like really one of the best DJs ever. So he's very talented. And so, yeah, make sure, you if you can make it, it's worth it. And basically, we're trying to, and I should actually say something about the venue itself. The Smith House is run by a Toronto legend, DJ Carl Allen. So he's another guy that goes way back. And it's really awesome that we have this space available, and he really supports the music scene in Toronto. And I think it's good to support people and establishments that do that because it's a there's a lot of stuff happening out there, but I think that the more the better, basically. And so buy lots of drinks. If you don't drink, buy your friend a drink. You know what I mean? Make sure that we that they're able to get some income out of it, and the whole idea is that it's like a win-win-win. The establishment gets to make a few dollars. We as the promoters, get to recoup our costs, and the people that are there will have a great time. And plus we haven't had an event in a long time where we've been face to face, so it's a good opportunity to socialize and like I say, if things go well, and I have a feeling they will, we'll keep it up. And in the new year, expect other events. But you know what I mean? That's not an excuse not to show up for this one, right? But yeah, I'm planning to have a synthwave show in the new year, and we'll have another, drum and it's going to be more themed. So in the past, we had mixed genre. I'm really more inclined these days to have a more coherent
Cohesive.
coherence. Here I am fumbling on the word, so that it's not such a jump, right, from performer to performer. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we touch different genres. So, like I say, we'll have a synthwave event and then another drum and bass event. As far as techno is concerned, oh yeah, I should mention that the lighting and sound is being done by Marco, and he has his own brand, which is New Genesis. So I'll be helping him out with his events. So I'll definitely there's a techno event happening December 13th, Friday the 13th that he's throwing. So it's still in its preliminary stages. I can't don't think there's even tickets on sale yet, but I'll definitely keep you posted. It'll be in the meetup and on the Facebook. And so yeah, like I say, so as far as techno is concerned, since Marco pretty much has that covered, I really don't see Temper throwing a techno event, just to throw it out there. But
There's no need for redundancy, I guess.
yeah, and
But you can say it's in a good hands. So
exactly, it's in very good hands. Yeah, and he's a perfectionist, so it's actually a real treat, or it's great to be working with someone who's a perfectionist like Marco. So yeah, I mean that's why like our event on the 30th, I can assure you that it's going to look and sound good because he's basically he's a real pro. He's done like festivals. He's told me he's worked with Dead Mouse. He's worked with all kinds of people. He runs the Nest club when it was in its heyday, and so that's why we're trying to do things proper. And like life is too short for mediocrity. No compromise. Quality is job one, and that's my sales pitch. So, all right. With that said,
Mhm.
good to see everyone here. And so everyone here knows the format, but I'll go through it anyways. Each producer submits a track optionally. People can attend and not submit tracks. That's always okay, but most people want to share their track. We put it into a random name selector. And then when the person's name comes up, we play their tune on Twitch and or YouTube. So you can try either platform. We were just discussing before we started this stream that in my opinion, the YouTube sound is better. Excuse me, but it's good to have the redundancy. So for whatever reason, we've got multiple platforms, and so whichever one you prefer. And if one was to have a hiccup, for example, we have a backup on the other. The bigger problem, I would say, or the only drawback with YouTube is that it has a longer delay. I more or less am saying it's around 20 seconds. So if you ever notice sometimes when I flip it back and forth, I'm usually listening to the YouTube stream. So, there's a bit of lag time, but anyway, it's workable, right? And so yeah, we have a bunch of videos that we're going to be playing back tonight. And that's another thing that we have in the event listing for our monthly online meetups is that even though we're music focused, we definitely are no strangers to video. So a lot of producers will send in video, and we have a few of those tonight. Yeah, yeah. So without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I think I actually, for once, have everyone's name in there properly, but let me know if that's not the case. And So, alrighty. Anybody see anything that's not anyone's name that's not there? Just let me know, okay?
Yeah, you always put one extra L in my name, that's all.
Really? There's only one L in Philip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a
Yeah,
big
man.
deal,
I don't know.
Or you can
I'm
always
not the
put
greatest
Phil.
speller.
You can just put Phil too, it doesn't matter. I'm just being picky.
No, it's all good, man. I want to get it right. I learned something new. I'd be spelling it with two L's for the rest of my life had you not told me that. I honestly thought that was the correct spelling.
I'm not butthurt about it.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, you know what? It's good to get it right regardless because, I know over the years sometimes people can be, mispronouncing it and it can be annoying or whatever. So, but obviously Philip is not exactly a rare name. But
No.
anyhow, Peter M, you are the first contestant. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. And just to Philip's note, my brother's name is Torren, Torren, and I work with him. And even when people get emails with his name in it, you'd be amazed the different spellings that show up. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
That they call him Torrent? Any chance?
oh my God, you wouldn't
Has
believe.
to happen.
There's
Dark-
hundreds.
dark
The poor bastard. Yeah. So I had to. This track's. It was a bit of a rush. It's certainly not quite where I want it to be, but I've been focused on trying to get the loudness up, use saturation, and to try to get that kind of big room feel to it. I do a lot of synth wave for guys who've been around here a lot, but I also like to do sort of Latin house or Afro house stuff, and this happens to be a Latin house track. And I will say that I just patched together a break in it today where it's a good start, but there'll be I think there'll be some notes about how to make that better. But yeah, give it a listen and see what you think.
All right, sounds good.
Hoy quiero verte, mi amor. Quiero que me quites el baby todo. Hoy quiero verte, mi amor. Quiero que me quites el baby todo. Quiero que me quites el baby todo. Me la fama, se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Dime si vienes a mi cama. Me la fama, se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Dime si vienes a mi cama. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto. Dime si vienes a mi cama. En la fama, se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Dime si vienes a mi cama. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto drama de nada. Se la pasan diciendo que soy mala, porque no me aguanto.
Very cool. Yeah, I decided to switch over to YouTube this time instead of Twitch just to see what it was like.
I was
Yeah,
also
I
curious
decided to
to
switch over to
compare
YouTube this
both.
time instead of Twitch. Sorry, forgot to mute my feed.
Yeah, it's quite different. Twitch is definitely closer to real time, but maybe that's the trade-off. I never thought about that, Peter. Maybe that's why the sound quality is better on YouTube. But yeah,
Yeah.
good tune, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, it had a lot of energy. It was upbeat. I had a vibe going.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I usually when I share stuff, it's a little more finished. That one, I mean, I've spent a lot of time trying to make a big sound for the bass, and I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, it doesn't have a lot of the. There's not that many differences as things go forward. So I'd like to add that. I still think I'm a ways out.
What's that, Matt?
I really like the flute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That one that the flute and the bass I've got Saturn, and I pushed a lot of saturation into it, and in previous iterations of trying to use it, it's been it's been it just sounded distorted, but I was able to put a lot into those ones, make them sound loud and big, and I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, it's like I say, it's still a
Yeah, I liked the compression or the distortion. You got a little bit of distortion on those flutes, which kind of like helped it be a bit edgier into the, cut into the mix a little bit. So yeah, good job on that.
Yeah, you really got the Latin sound down pat. It's really good.
well, that's nice. Thank you.
I hear more and more about people struggling with the mix being too clean, as opposed to, like, I know all our lives we've been fighting with analog devices and trying to make it as clean as possible. And now the trend is reversed, like it's super damn clean on digital, right? So like a little bit of a distortion, a little bit of humanizing it is kind of a challenge nowadays, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a new concept, but like in techno, like for example, like distortion and dirt and mud is important to make it look like 90s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's too clean otherwise.
Daddy.
Yeah, and you can't hang on, buddy. Let me get it. Yeah, but I mean, it's I find it so difficult to find that where it's dirty, it's loud, it's got some crispiness to it, but it's not muddy. And again, I'm still working on that one. There's a lot of mixing yet to do with it, but I really feel like I took a step forward as far as for guys who know me from before, things have been pretty.
Well, you're on mute, Peter.
Yeah.
I wonder how that happened. Thank you. It's been pretty clinical in the past, and I've really struggled with when I try to add any kind of distortion, it just sounds bad. And I feel like that one, I've actually gotten somewhere where it's added something to it rather than taking. Thank you.
In my humble opinion, I think when it comes to the drums, it should be clean and it should cut through. And I think that's maybe, a big evolution in today's music where you listen to like older mixes, like even from like 20 years ago, right? Like the drums and snare just punches through today like more than it ever has. And we're all familiar with the loudness wars too, right? It's just unbelievable when you play an older track and it's like, holy smokes, you gotta like turn it up to get it to the same level. So
The drum
Yeah.
machines are the same, but the recording, like a lower bit rates or analog recordings, that's where it kind of shows, right?
Yeah, I mean, with this one, actually, something I did that I haven't done before. I mean, I usually do. I've got the kick drum, the snare. I program myself, but I take the highs or the tops and usually get a loop for that. And in this one, what I ended up doing was really taking a close look at where all the notes are hitting, and I cut up uh, all of the drum samples that I had and make sure, well, it was just one, or depending on what part of the song you're on, but made sure that they lined up, all had the exact same swing, and I actually removed notes that were drum hits that I quite liked, but because there was a kick drum hitting or there was a snare hitting, just pulled it out because you weren't going to hear it. And to me, the difference was really night and day. It cleaned it up. You could still have that dirty sound, but it cleaned it up quite a bit. And just taking a look, just moving a couple notches each note over here and there made a big difference. So for anyone who's using loops for their top notes or for the whole bloody thing, for that matter, I mean, that was a big improvement for me. So.
Well, I like the guitar and how you got something so streamlined like that, just opposed to the big sound that was going around it, and yet it really worked for me.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, I really rushed that part. I had verse, chorus, starting today about 3 o'clock when I got home from work, and I just was too embarrassed to throw that out there, and I was very happy with the guitar that I found and kind of sliced it up, and yeah, I want that a relief, a difference between one to the other, and so you have a moment to breathe. And yeah, so but definitely that part I need to adjust the spacing so the drop hits a little harder. Thank you.
all right, awesome stuff, Peter. Thank you for sharing. I'll go ahead and spin the wheel again. Okay, Gilles. Welcome back, by the way. It's been, I don't know, maybe a few months anyhow. Good to see you.
It has been a few months. Just been really busy with other things, and so music was put on the back burner a little bit. But finally, I was able to get something together. It's a work in progress. I would say it's maybe 75%, 80% there. A little bit of vocal samples and the usual style, like electronic, tribal / world. Maybe world is better. Yeah, maybe a better description. A little bit of that, but yeah, I'm looking for feedback because I will be massaging it and adding some ear candy and all that stuff.
Awesome. All right, let's give it a listen.
Very nice. Really liked it.
Yep. It swings.
Very
Plays
good.
so well.
Yeah, great job, Joe. I thought that was excellent.
What are you planning to change?
Oh, sorry.
Maybe a
I think
bit of
it's
the
good.
things, maybe some spacing, maybe a little bit of anticipation on some of the parts. I was gonna maybe add a little bit of variety, but then again, I do like its hypnotic
Yeah,
so it's, I'm kind of not sure there whether I should add more variety or just keep it just that, just
I
driving.
felt like I felt like it worked. I mean, it did, like, that was a good word to use, hypnotic. It kind of like drew you into this little trance, but it had enough to keep you kind of guessing what's going to come next. So I
Okay,
think it's actually not too bad. Yeah,
okay,
in that respect.
I mean, I think the vocals were something that are a real common thread throughout the whole thing, and so if you kept the vocals going through, and you wanted to pull any instrument out, you could do that. So if you're looking to switch it up, I would make sure that is still there, and that's going to keep you in that sort of hypnotic nodding moment. But they just be me.
okay, thanks, Peter.
It's hard to maintain that window,
Mhm.
right? Because between repetitive and busy, to maintain that hypnotic state when it's just right amount of change, not to distract completely from that state. Very tricky thing to achieve. So I think it's pretty close, if not right on. I wouldn't make it busier, that's for sure,
Okay, thanks.
personally.
Thanks, Peter.
I think it's pretty solid. I can't really see any place for a dramatic change. So
Okay, okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, me too. I mean, if you told me that was a finished piece, I would be like, yeah, sounds great. But, we're not really hearing. I'm also listening through the stream as well, right? So perhaps that's the only tiny little tweaks, maybe, but I didn't hear any. It sounded actually really full, to be honest with you. So having said all that, like everything, the mix was really clean.
Okay, thanks, Lenny. It started
But
off as a slower track around 80 beats per minute, or 90, something like that. Then I bumped it up to about 108, and it just sounded so much better. So
108, really? I was gonna guess it was around 90, actually. Okay.
yeah,
It feels kind of like a hip hop groove in a way, actually, that sort of speed.
Yeah, the one thing I mean, I really like that there seemed to be a difference in the sub bass throughout, and at one moment it really pushed through, and you could really feel the vibration of it. And I didn't quite get enough of that. And in my opinion, I'm a bass head.
Look, it could be a stream too, so we shouldn't judge Subways based on Twitch or YouTube. So
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I mean, I don't know if Gilles,
Yeah.
Gilles, I don't know if you intended for it to come in and out. I mean, if you did, I would play more with that because that's something where you can keep the same notes, the same sort of rhythmic, hypnotic feeling, but I can kind of it's a difference. It's something that kind of draws me in and out. There's a similarity, but something new that comes in that's very subtle and compelling.
Okay. The sub bass you're referring to, are you talking about just a drone? Because I do have a drone at some point, or are you talking more about the pulse?
It was more of a pulse, and I don't know. It felt like at times the pulse was thicker, and at times it was thinner. And so if it was a streaming issue, then disregard. But if it was something that you were doing intentionally, where there was that the change in the pulse and how strong it was in the sub bass or the frequencies you were using in it, I would play with that a little bit more because that's a really gentle way to stay hypnotic, but also change it up and keep people's interest.
Okay, thanks. I'll definitely look into that because I do pull it out. Yeah, but I'll check the position of it, and maybe like you said, just make it more prominent where I do want to use it, or where I lay it off. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Jill. So thank you
Thanks,
for
Lenny.
sharing. Speaking of sharing, I'm going to share my screen here and spin the wheel. Okay, Philip with 1L.
Yep. So this is a track I wrote recently using just the Yuhi Zebra synth. Everything in the track is just that synth, including the percussion and drums. Jeff, I think you heard this already, but the big change is that I've used AI to create a music video for it. So this is using Flux AI to generate still images, and then using Minimax from Halo or whatever to animate them. So anyway, it's kind of in a Blade Runner-ish style. So that's what I did. It's called Signalizer. Anyway,
All right,
Excited.
let's give it a watch and listen.
It's hard to, where do I start? Video or sound?
It was epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. I mean, what made it even more impressive is you mentioned you did it all over here. You did it with all the one synthesizer. I mean, that percussion was fantastic. The snare had such a great reverb on it. Yeah, I was a little bewildered. I was a little bewildered about whether the woman was getting a haircut every couple
Yeah,
frames or
that's
not.
yeah, I'm looking into training Laura so that I can have consistent characters in each scene. But yeah, I basically ran I think 50 different iterations of the same prompt, and then just whatever came out that was good, I would animate it with high-low, and then yeah, edit it all together. So yeah, it's still a lot of work, but it's amazing. Thanks to Peter for walking me through that. Yeah, it's yeah, pretty cool to be able to take what's in your mind, put it into a prompt, generate an image, and then take that image and then have that same prompt generate some animation.
I could do different prompt. It's even, you can push it in a different direction completely if you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, very
Did you
cool stuff.
did you have? I mean, I know with the site that, and thank you for the information, Phil. I was picking your brain the other day on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The 12 seconds or whatever it is, like, are you
6 seconds?
6 seconds? So are you hitting that limit basically? Because I noticed it's like,
Yeah, this one actually each camera change was about 4 seconds long.
yeah, okay.
So what I did was when I downloaded the clips, they're I think 25 frames per second, but I changed them to 24, which gave them a little bit more length. And then you would have to shift it this way or that way. And sometimes I would reverse the clip because sometimes it would generate the ship going backwards. And so I would just reverse it in the editing software and have it go forward. And then I find that, sometimes you'll get like some weirdness toward the end where the the image that you had was great, and then it tries to animate like some other uh, quality into the clip. So you cut it before it gets too wild or crazy. But yeah, I had some funny experiments too, like and I've got several other music videos going right now at the moment where I'm generating, hundreds of these things. I'm going to edit them together, but yeah, you'll get like I had a scene where I was animating a camera going through a junkyard, and then all of a sudden one of the cars just backed out. I'm like, whoa, you're wrecked, dude. Don't go anywhere. So you get some funny weirdness, but it can be good for a blooper reel.
Like, do you start with an image as a prompt? Can you do that, or no?
You can start with an image for prompt, but I prefer to with Flux AI running on your local machine with Comfy UI as the interface that you use for that or the engine. I find that if you craft your prompt properly, it'll just generate what you want from nothing really.
It got way better than we used to. You don't have to be a prompt wizard or anything. You just spell what you want and it would just do it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
All that being said, I mean, the video was amazing, but I mean, it was to me sounds like even a little distracting because the music was fantastic. I mean, it's amazing you did that all in one synthesizer, and yeah, I mean, there was such a wide variety of sounds. They were all well positioned in the stereo field. It felt wide where it needed to, but it also felt there was a lot going on right down the middle. And yeah, I love that track. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Can I see me?
Yes.
Yeah, the bass is gonna haunt my dreams tonight.
Yeah, and Phil, I don't know if that's a public video, but you should post a link when it is.
Yeah, I waited until tonight, and then tomorrow I'll post it.
Yeah, because it looked really, really. I mean, YouTube, degraded the
It does
quality.
compress
Like
it.
I was looking out on my other monitor, and like that, it's very, very detailed. So it looks great with a sharp. You had it on Vimeo too. So Vimeo is usually going to be much better than YouTube. So I highly recommend people check it out. The original source there on Vimeo. You'll
Yeah, I'll paste
appreciate
it here. I'll paste it here just so everybody can have it, but it's
That's
not public yet.
such a great song, Phil. And then to hear it tonight with the video, it's just major drama. It's just totally riveting. It's incredible what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because the video is tools are so advanced now, I found myself thinking about video while making music. So what would it do? What would this scene would do? What this drop would do visually? So it's completely, it's like another dimension. Like the whole thing is so much fun now.
Quick question. Did you play the AI your song?
No.
Okay. Because
No,
I mean, it certainly seemed to go with what was going on.
Well, I had a vision in my mind when I made the song. I'm like I had this idea of what the visuals would be that would go with this, but no, I crafted all the prompts from scratch using Flex AI. So I would say, hyper realistic dystopian night shot of flying over city with mega skyscrapers, fog, mist, rainy, so you just start to describe what's in your mind, and it'll start to generate that for you.
So you don't have to feed it images at all?
No, it's built into the model. I mean, what is it, like 18 gigabytes, the model size, or 24 or something like that. So they've already, the model has already been fed like thousands and thousands and thousands of images that it learned like what these text prompts mean, and then it basically generates a field of noise, like an image of noise, nothing but noise, and then it just slowly refines that based on your prompt. It'll say, oh, that kind of looks like this skyscraper that I saw in these other images, and it'll start to build things, but nothing's the same. Every time you generate it with a random seed, it's different. So
amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get weirdness, but no.
You edited it down so that it went with, I mean, because sort of when things slowed down, it looked like you did a wide shot, and it was kind of, it seemed to go with the song, but you had multiple prompts, multiple videos.
Yeah, I had 50 or 60 like aerial shots, 50 or so interior cockpit shots, 50 shots of close-ups with flying vehicles. And then just pick the best ones that felt appropriate at that time in the music. And
so you edited it down, yeah. I feel bad for the next Warburger that's playing a video.
The old school, like old fashioned editing doesn't go anywhere. It's still
you still have to do it.
Right?
Yeah.
So you still have to edit it all manually.
Yeah, I dumped all these images or these video clips into Premiere, brought my music clip in there, and I listened to the music clip and I put markers every time that it changed, and it turned out to be about 4 seconds. If I'm doing this in the future, I'm just going to create like a guide track so that I have a visual of where the transitions should happen, and then throw my markers in there and then edit to that.
Yeah, and that's a good, and I know Janos, you can keep me honest here, but like in drum and bass at 174 BPMs, 32 bars is about 44 seconds. You know what I mean? So sometimes you can use like the time itself. I even do that sometimes mixing wise, right? But like in your video, for example, if you want to know like every 16 bars, roughly every 22 seconds, basically would. So just to throw it out there that it can be complicated, but you can just use a simple metric as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it basically took me most of a week of generating these things at night and generating the clips and then doing the editing. This wasn't during the workday I was working, but my machine was rendering while I was working, rendering additional images. Yeah.
But yeah, the music itself is sorry, just go ahead, Peter. I was just gonna say the music is so amazing too.
Oh, thank you.
In my experience is very similar. It's about a week per track.
Mhm.
Not full time, with work, but day job. I mean,
Yeah.
probably a few days without.
Yeah.
But gotta work.
In the track at some point toward the end, it looks like you're doing a key change or something.
No key change. I just had another instrument that was a bit kind of more randomish with but yeah, though in the break there was a bit of, you know, I changed the key a little bit during the break, but then it came back to the original. But yeah, no key changes per
Okay,
se.
because there's something at the end where it's like a
It's kind of randomish and just dissonant, I guess.
yeah, dissonant.
Yeah, it's almost out of tune. I loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was wondering if something in the video was going to happen.
Daddy.
Oh.
Very
Yeah, no, I just kind of wanted to end it back on
Daddy.
hard shots.
What is that?
There was a certain dissonance when an instrument came in. It seemed like it wasn't necessarily a key change, but that instrument was playing notes outside of the key that you were in. That I quite enjoyed. I mean,
Oh, go to bed.
so yeah, I loved it. There's a lot of bravery and understanding of music theory that I don't have. So I admire that quite a bit.
Bill, does that software allow you to use images? If you had some of your own images, could you put those in as gates
animate?
or starting points?
To
Yeah.
animate? Yeah, I've taken a photo of me and my girlfriend, for example, and put it in there, and then you describe the photo. So I had a still image of her and I, and then I said, man and woman smile and having a good time with each other, and all of a sudden we're like animating, like looking at each other. Of course, when you turn your profile, it gets your profile a little bit wrong, but you know, it's you can take any image and feed it in there.
Good.
I just like the idea of, you know, creating these AI images and then taking those a step further. Because a lot of times, like, excuse me, if I wanted to film something like that or do something like that, I would have to 3D model it. And I don't have time to do that. I could, but yeah, it would take forever.
Well, soon you'll be able to AI generate the 3D models.
Well, you won't have. Pretty soon it will be so good that you don't have to generate a 3D model. It's 2D image, but it's animated in a way that it looks 3D. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing, Phil. And like even if we didn't have the video, it would be amazing. So yeah, I agree with everyone's points there. It's like I need to re-experience that again, to be honest. But
Cool. Well, thank you.
thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. So, right, Janos. So Janos is one of our special guests tonight. I reached out to him because Dexter was saying he's like, man, he's making some fire tracks, and I'm like, man, you know what? So take it away, Janos. You're a drum and bass producer and DJ. You started off probably back in the day doing hip hop too, did you?
Yeah,
Or
DJing high school dances. I made money doing high school dances, top 40, fell in love with Fatboy Slim, went to a rave, and it was all over from there. Found jungle drum and bass and been spinning ever since. And I dabble in production. Lenny, thanks for inviting me. The track I submitted tonight is something of an extended mix. There's a lot of repetitive sections. I'm planning on sending it to some vocalists, you know, Catalyst.
yes, of
And
course.
it'd be awesome to get banded on it. I haven't talked to them, but somebody mentioned sending it to Catalyst and MCP from Toronto. So
Nice.
yeah, I apologize for the repetitive sections, but it's about 3 minutes of reggae and then it switched to some reggae jungle.
All right, man. Let's give it a listen, and make sure you turn it up.
Thanks.
Pretty cool. I definitely can see it mixed in.
Thank you.
Pretty cool. Fun stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was waiting for this. The girlfriend's calling.
Timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's definitely a DJ track as it is now. And I mean,
Mhm.
once you add vocals over it, it'll be, another level. But
Yeah.
I was already hearing that last part, the amens, like that was already going on for me.
Yeah. It took a while to get there, but it's definitely a tear out track at the end.
Exactly. So you could be cutting in and out and doing all kinds of DJ tricks and like layering.
Love
That's
you,
the
dude.
beauty.
Love you.
But the solid foundation, right? Like having the good vibe and the good groove,
You
And
gotta
it's
bring
and
the
it's clean.
vocal back. I gotta hear this with the vocal.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a couple guys in mind, and if you know their style, it would just be. But a female vocalist, I could think of MC Stars from the UK. She's a wicked rapper, does grime, drum and bass, hip hop. Yeah, I'll send it to them. Let you guys know what's up.
Yeah. And very clean, by the way. It sounds really
It's the samples that I work with. Like those, most of them I think were actually from a chopstick dub plate sample pack that I bought. So start with good quality sounds and just make sure they don't get too loud. That's my trick.
right on. Yeah, you got a lot of real estate there being taken up by the bass, but that's what it's really supposed to be there for. So, uh, so yeah, man, you should. I don't know if you don't mind throwing it my way, or if I can use it too. By the way, in a
Yeah,
mix.
the link I sent you, you can download from,
Yeah, I
right?
did. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
That's
spin it up maybe on the 30th, man.
awesome.
I could see a great release party for this.
Yeah, I'll send it to Bandit so he knows what's coming.
Yeah. And actually, maybe Dexter will even play it too. So I'll talk to him just in case we don't want to both play it. But
Right.
actually, you know what? We
I
could
haven't
probably
sent it to him. He hasn't
Oh, he doesn't have
heard
it?
it.
You could
No.
probably play that track twice and it would sound different depending on the mix, to be honest with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But
Cool, man. I really appreciate like the energy and the vibe. It's
thank you. I appreciate your guys' time.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Righty. Okay. Andrew, how are
Yeah,
things?
good. I hope everyone's having a good night. This next track you're gonna hear, I completed, I think it was about 6 months ago, and it's something that is a little different than what I'd like to do, but it's still up tempo, but it starts off, it sounds like it's not as fast as it really ends up being. So, and I'm using an accordion instrument that was in one of the packs in the Reason software I use, and it was just seemed to fit the track. So just let me know what you think, and if you want to let it go.
All right, let's let it rip.
All right, thanks.
Good job, man.
Dreamy.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me on a journey. It was nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, good job, Andrew. Looks like I really liked how it almost feels. It feels very organic. How almost like you're just jamming along with it. You know, there's no set pattern. There's no set pattern that you're using. If there was, I didn't really pick up on it. So it just seems like you're just meandering, which is it really suits the piece.
Yeah, I wrote it in 8 bars. I was it 8 bars at a time? Yeah, 8 bars at a time. And I just consciously made the decision that I'm not going to repeat the accordion or the main voice or the main vocal or the you know what I mean of the accordion over and over and over again, or even twice for that matter. I wanted to keep it different as much as I possibly could. Although I did feel that song may be a little bit long because it is about 5 and a bit minutes, so it could be a little bit shorter, I think. But other than that, yeah, I wrote it as a continuous story as opposed to bits being repeated. You're right. Thank you.
Worked.
Yeah.
Good job.
I really like the accordion, the intro, and I think the fact that you didn't use it throughout the song, it makes me want to hear the song again. So it's got a good pull like that.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, nice job, Andrew. It's what BPM? I'm always curious. Like 120-ish, maybe
That was about 130.
130.
Yeah.
Right on.
Something I was thinking, just thinking back on it, something you may want to consider is if you want to, if you want to get a truer accordion sound, to thicken it may somehow, like maybe a bit of reverb or something, and also just do like a real accordion. So on the accordion, you have the buttons on one side, which are the chords. So you could add some chords of the accordion just lower,
Yeah.
you know, to complement the melody that you have. If you want to make it sound more like a real accordion instead of more like harmonica, sort of.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think it's a done piece.
Okay.
Yeah. But I appreciate the
works.
input. Yeah. I just wanted to know what you guys think, and usually when I post it up to SoundCloud, I usually tend to sweep it in the box of records, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I understand. It feels good when it's out there and
it's
done. Yeah.
But you can always take that feedback for the next one. You know what I mean? Like that's how I always take it, right? Like I always appreciate the feedback. It's like, you know, sometimes like, yeah, this could have been done, but you know,
Okay.
I work that into my future stuff, you know. So that's a good that's very detailed whatchamacallit advice there, Jill. I like that. Thank you. You know, because accordions do have that unique you know what I mean? Like like you say, like the lower chords on the one side or whatever.
I have one. That's why.
Oh, you have one? Okay, that's why you know.
Just to fiddle with it. I don't play it well. I just fiddle with it.
Well, I don't play any instrument at all except for the keyboard, so
How do you plug it?
I appreciate it. Thank you,
to
Gil.
Ableton?
MIDI interface for the accordion, man. Come on. Yeah, that's great stuff, Andrew. Thank you for sharing. All right, Peter. So Peter, you got 2 videos. Usually,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
they're both kind of trimmed, so I discontinued my SoundCloud. So whatever I send is already trimmed, so it's no mix in, mix out like in SoundCloud. Too lazy to trim it for. It's basically they used to appear as they would on CDJs, right? But these are all trimmed, so they're short. So, but a year ago, I rode my last truck and I kind of stuck. I felt like I'm all over the place, and I need to go back into the like learning mode. It took a year. Also got distracted by AI. Obviously, it's a bit, exploding right now. So, uh, so did that a little. Then there was a nice pause. I looked back. I really didn't like anything I've done so far, so I deleted everything completely. Canceled SoundCloud. Deleted everything from Facebook and Instagram. Deleted my YouTube. That just completely erased everything. So I felt like I need to start over. So one of the reasons that I've discovered a few things, like went to really, really, really good techno events by like top tier, like Rod Hat and DVS1 and like Bangkok and things like that, guys like that. So, and I felt that amazing body feeling of being completely hypnotized. Uh, and I listen to my stuff and it's not even close to this. So I just basically figured it's all garbage. And I try to figure out why I experienced that with them, and my techno just doesn't work like this. So, and I learned a few things, and one of the secrets is that between like this hypnotic feeling appears from between 50 and 100 hertz swinging, where you have the chest and the stomach responding to different subs, and that if you apply that to a human body for a certain period of time, the brain just turns off and you start like experience these things. And it's of course been in every tutorial for techno producers, and I just didn't learn from it because I felt like my stuff was good. So it kind of takes that moment when you realize that it's just not good. And the lesson from that was, well, we gotta go to real events, to real like top tier producers to hear that the real sound systems, not at home, even if you have like fancy reference monitors, not the same, not the same. So it has to be a proper space with proper things, and then it might just trigger another kind of mix of curiosity and discontent and maybe whatever it is, that mix of feelings. And I kind of had that, and I spent another few months to kind of learning and trying this, and I think I got it. And I started a completely new series of video. They're much more restrained in terms of subgenre. It's a techno, hypnotic raw techno. I no longer try to do other types of techno. So, and that restriction kind of helps me focus on that hypnotic feeling and all that sub stuff that I just explained, plus some other things. And it's close to minimal in terms of how restricted the genre is. And it's fun to have very little tools and just prove that less is more. And on top of that, like this AI stuff, so I kind of think of this music and the message and the visuals at the same time. Try to anyway. So out of all these recent things I tried, I picked a couple, and we'll see if they work. I'm not holding my breath because that body feeling I'm talking about probably not possible. Even if, definitely not gonna hear anything on headphones. If you have studio monitors here, maybe some of it you could kind of guess what I'm talking about. And hopefully it doesn't matter how good the stuff is. Like in Elena's studio, like I just not having too much trust in YouTube or Twitch, but we'll see. Let's give it a try anyway. So if you capture some
Right.
of it, it would be awesome.
It's a lot to unpack there, but let's give it a listen, man. And a walk.
That was great.
My wife told me, "What's wrong with you?"
That was
Nothing.
great.
You didn't create the visuals.
Yeah, the visuals really worked with the music, I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the color
Well
palette,
done.
yeah. Kind of muted greenish black matrix type. Yeah.
Hey, Peter, for the visuals, do you do a lot of compositing? Like it looks like there's different elements that you're like like it's not all straight out of the eye. It's like different parts that you're compositing together. Is that right?
It's the same exact process that Phil just explained. The
Oh, wow.
same process. Yeah. So
Interesting.
you have this storyline, then you create stills for each scene, and you animate them, then you go back to like manual editing like you would do with footage that you would do with the camera. Like it's the editing part is no different from a traditional editing.
I think
It's
maybe you
just the
were.
characters are generated. That's the only difference.
I think maybe with Thomas, and I don't know. I'm guessing. You tell me if I'm right. But I thought maybe when you saw like I don't know if it was blood or like the black blood coming out of the eye.
Or the eyeball.
It looked like it was another layer on top. But you're saying that was straight in the AI.
It's just whatever it hallucinated about, I just use. Well, within the prompt, obviously.
You know what I really like too is that it's so dark, and yet all of a sudden you'll have these people just dancing, having a good time.
Well, that's a style of techno, so it's
Classic. I
techno.
love it.
So
It just adds a nice little,
dark techno asks for some dark visuals, so I figured. But Julie, she's a super, like, super techno expert, and she appreciated the track, but she said that I overdid this. So, and it was Halloween time, so maybe that contributed to this. I don't know.
Maybe it's always Halloween time. I really liked the hands also when you just came in with the hand effects and you're just like a spider on the wall, right? It's like really cool.
I don't know. Elena, do we want to
Yeah,
do
well, let's do another one, man.
so
I
the
mean,
second one is
I don't know if, but I actually just wanted to actually before we do that, if you don't mind, because you mentioned a lot of stuff, and I was saying there's a lot to unpack. I mean, I'm just saying it's I admire the how do I say this? The
Courage.
like the total view you have. It's just like I'm gonna start over. I'm getting rid of everything. I thought, and I think a lot of people here, like over the years, have appreciated your previous work, and you had a lot of people out there. It's not just us, right, that liked your stuff, but it's like you're constantly, maybe not constantly, but you're at this point reinventing yourself, and I just find that very fascinating, basically. You know what I mean?
sometimes it's just useful, to reset and kind of reevaluate everything. And if you're clinging to your old work, then no judgment whatsoever. I mean, eh, maybe it's good. Maybe you just, you know, feel that you spent all that time and money on that, like, or whatever the feeling might be. But I
Right.
really I felt like after like a few events that I was lucky to attend, I just realized how crappy that was. So it just was not even. It was just embarrassing. Like guys said, like, well, past is always cringe. You gotta own it. I tried really, but then I like, heck with that. I'm just gonna erase it all. And there's a side effect of that. Now, like, I only have like a handful of tracks on social media, and YouTube just exploded. It gave me like 10,000 views, like, and about 20 plus thousand on other platforms just because they felt like I'm new or something, like I haven't posted for a year. I deleted everything, and now it treats me as a new creator. So it gives me for the previews and like tens of thousands of views for no reason whatsoever. So that's kind of like, even though I don't really care about clicks or whatever, but it's just amusing, right? Like, I mean, it just suddenly you get like people like sharing and whatever. Like, I mean, it's been kind of non-existent for years.
Mhm.
I think that probably. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Philip.
I was just going to say, are you still exclusively Roland Cloud based?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I ditched Roland also. I ditched absolutely everything that I used because that's like Roland just didn't have what I need. I just didn't know it doesn't have what I need. I can be specific, like certain things, certain synth, certain filters, it's just lack automation that, but I also had like this limited Ableton. I got the full Ableton finally, so I don't really need Roland anymore. So it's like
Are you in the box Ableton then?
in terms of the style, in terms of my approach to things, visual, and I also ditched all the old tools, so I had to learn quite a bit. So
Are you completely in the box Ableton then, or are you using external VST?
everything you've heard is just all stock Ableton, but the full one, this the top. What is it?
Sweet.
Sweet, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know what else to say, but yeah, it's amazing stuff, Peter. But let's listen to and watch the second track. And
the second one is like just influenced by Isaac Asimov robot series, so I like that stuff. So I just try to visualize it, and kind of this one was one of those when I tried to do music and visuals like kind of together at the same time. So it's my attempt, one of the early one though.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah, way to go, man. I can see why you just started over because you're doing a really good job now. It's awesome. Not that your stuff before I didn't appreciate and I loved it, but you're definitely on a different plane. I can tell that you've learned something.
The key learning is that when you go into that room where like DVS1 or Banclock or Rod Hat or these guys are playing, the air is moving, and you start moving with that. In half an hour, you're on a different planet.
Yeah.
You need nothing. You just need to be there. It's not cerebral music, it's a body music, and body is water. So they managed to play with water on these frequencies in this way. They have no choice. Even kids with phones, they get hypnotized. Like, those who go to the raves don't know why. They don't know why they go there. New kids like with phones, it works even on them. It's crazy stuff. So, and when I experience it, I like, how? How do they do that? And this is my kind of attempt to kind of replicate that a little, like that, like air, like moving, like these subs do this crazy thing with humans, apparently, like, and other genres of techno, more cerebral, you kind of more thinking, more enjoying. They're all enjoyable and sweet and nice and whatever. But this kind of sub genre of techno blew my mind. But a couple of years ago, I started DJing it. But like as a producer, I was like, I couldn't quite figure out what they've been doing. So it requires some theory, but it's like after you get it, like there's absolutely, I had no interest in any of the stuff I've done before. So like it's just like, oh, like I flushed it in the toilet, no regrets whatsoever, not even a pinch.
Well, it's really fresh, Peter, and this water movement is really good metaphor. I do feel that all of a sudden I'll just get a wave. It'll just take me somewhere, like a slip in time or the motion of the water. It really comes through. It's really great.
But the 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 challenge with this subgenre is that it's very hard to until you go there and you experience it on proper sound system, like how kids like listen to that with headphones and phones and ear, what is it, air, like the
Earbuds.
buds, whatever. Like you're not gonna get this. Like it's a body music, right? So you really need to be in that room with the people who know what to do with those subs, and that's rare. And this is why it's so niche. But once you learn this, it's like you don't go back to like normal rave anymore because this is like more like it's like sort of magic. We call all music that, like in the different areas, right? But this is like drugs. This is like I don't know what, so.
So as a producer, how do you get to that? How do you get to that sound you look
So
at?
the secret is all over YouTube if you know what to look for. And the secret is that, like I said, 50 hertz is stomach, 100 to 150 is chest. And you figure out how to swing between the proper cadence.
So you'll put
do it for a while and it just works. And then the rest is just normal producing, synths, leads, whatever, ear candy, like whatever it is to make it interesting. But the key is the sub bass, basically. If you figure out how to master it, everything else is just whatever.
So you put the EQ on and you look at where they.
No, you just use different, like you can't even hear it, like a lot, like a lot of things that contribute to the swing. You can't like even distinguish it when the music is playing. Just somehow you start feeling this, and if you don't do it right, you just don't feel it. But you can't really hear this much, so that's
I can see
interesting.
it a little bit in my meters. I could just see it.
Yeah, you can see that on the spectrum, and if you have like a good sub, or big reference monitors, or if you have access to like a proper club equipment, you can do it. Or if you have like really nice sub in your studio, probably can do that. Like, I don't know, like, but it's definitely something that my Klipsch, like consumer, it doesn't even do it. Like my Yamaha, like also consumer grade, like subs completely ignores this. It's just not, you really need like a club equipment for this.
So
Or
that's why
a good studio.
you have to do it visually.
Yeah, yeah. And also like I have also like very large speakers that I used to do parties with, like uh Canadian brand, I forgot.
Yorkville?
Yorkville, yeah, I have a couple of huge Yorkvilles and a giant Yorkville sub, so I can do it, but I can't really do a lot of it because my family, like the house is shaking like crazy. So because like I said, it's really, you have to have that air moving in the room in order to like try to replicate this, right? So
Yeah.
So tricky stuff.
Cool,
But very
man.
very rewarding stuff.
Well, it's good to have you back, man, and it's interesting to hear your journey from the past to now where you are. Yeah, very enlightening.
Yeah, solid. I think that's the word Janos used there, and that's very appropriate. But it's also a moving kind of as you say. And I'll just add on to that. Like, I mean, a lot of times I would hear tracks, for example, in my home, whatever setup, and even at baseline, which, maybe not the premier sound system in the world, and now it's closed, but it did have a lot of subs, right? And every time I play current value, I'm like, how does he do it? It's like, it's science. This guy, it's art and science. I mean, it cuts through. I could play other tracks, and sometimes, in general, they're very well produced, right? But his tracks, I swear by them. They're always like, I don't know how to describe it other than perfection. I mean, it cuts
I
through.
guess if I had a moral of this, there's never late to learn whatever you know. And I can only imagine how many tricks I don't know, right? Like, I mean, it's just, I experienced one thing, and it's like, oh my God, like, these guys, like, they probably know more.
Well, I actually had the pleasure of speaking with him, and because he does tutorials, right? And so I thought, you know what? He's like literally my favorite producer. Why not? You know what I mean? And what struck me is that he, first of all, he uses headphones, which I thought wasn't, I never imagined that a producer would do beginning to end production with headphones. He's got an entire collection, and he doesn't use EQ. Like, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll cut off the minus, like the 10. No, he leaves it in. It's all side sheening, right? So he's not an EQ guy. And when you hear his music, it's anyway, I I'm still trying to process and a lot of that myself to understand, right? But you can see the waveform. It's just like basically straight, like the old sausage or whatever. But so I'd be interesting to see your waveforms actually, Peter. Like, do you have a lot of compression? Is there like a kind of a wave, or is it also like the sausage situation? Sorry for the reference, but
Lots of compression, lots of side chaining, way too many layers to. It would take the rest of this meeting. Like, I'd say let's probably move on. But maybe we'll do something like sharing the Ableton at some point, maybe.
yeah, that'd be good. Do like a little walkthrough. That'd be awesome.
Not everything that I do, I understand. Like, I understand very little. Also, I'm musically illiterate, so I just like a monkey, like I try this, like trying to replicate whatever is in the tutorial about these subs, like, oh, it doesn't work, and then some kind of breakthrough happened. Like, but I barely know what I'm doing, so it's just like I listen, like I like it for some reason. There are some tricks, like I explained, but mostly it's just like turning things trying to understand why I like it or don't like it or whatever. And some
Well, you
things
have an
like
ear for
I'm
it.
about to throw out the truck because I feel it's a dead end. And you add little thing and then suddenly it's great. So like this is but I'm like a blind person, right? Like may fall off the cliff, may walk to something awesome, like who knows? So this is an interesting thing to me. I'm DJ first. I feel and Lenny, remember I just went to one of those meetings a few years ago and I had no idea. I just was curious to listen to other producers. I had never produced anything myself.
Yeah, I'm proud to know that that our group has inspired you and you have an ear for it, and I think definitely your DJing background comes through because you know what I mean. Like it was a reverse for me. And actually, it's weird. Until I met you, I never DJ'd actually. I was always just producing, and I was just like, what is this DJing stuff? They just spin records. What the hell? And then obviously I realized how wrong that idea was, and in fact how much you can learn as a producer. I always encourage people, like even if you do it at home, just try mixing up some tracks sometimes. You'd be amazed at what you will learn actually. And to Peter's point, whenever and that was the sad thing or the one thing that I regret about not having the party room with the big Serwin Vega, subwoofer and the tops that we had a chance to actually get some of that experience with the big volume. But yeah, it's always good to remember that for sure. Anyway, thank you again, Peter. That's really good stuff. Okay,
Damn it.
Alma.
I was feeling sorry for whoever had to go after Peter, man. So
Hard act to follow.
hard to tell. That's okay. This is something so completely different that it'll be like I want to say it's like a palate cleanser, but like yeah, it's completely different. So this is a uh, um a piece that I've been working on. Basically, it's exploring working with just three um analog monosynths and just kind of noodling around, exploring the oscillators and just trying some experiments with a certain playing style. So it's not meant to be like a complete finished piece or anything, but it's sort of an experiment that I'm going to take parts of and use in a couple different contexts. So,
All right, let's check it out.
That was mesmerizing. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a nice performance, man. Good
Yeah,
job
thank you.
in that
Thank you.
live.
Skills.
Yeah, the NYX on the bottom. What was that one? Because I know you had a bass synth and an analog
Y-
synth. What's that one?
Yeah, so the Hades is a bass synth. The Erebus in the middle was sort of doing the two oscillator little harmonic bit in, and then the Nyx was just all the noodling basically.
Okay.
So the Erebus and the Nyx are similar in that they're both two oscillators, similar oscillator profiles, but the modulation filters are very different on the two of them. Um, and so yeah, it was just I love playing with these little monosynths and seeing what I can get out of them. So
Cool.
Yeah,
What's your
thanks for sharing. That
what's
was
your
really cool.
what's your investment like in that setup? Kind of like.
uh not that much. So the Dreadbox, so there's the three Dreadbox synths. They're probably around $400-500 each.
Mhm.
Which is actually the first two I got on a Christmas special promo last year, so it was pretty good. The H9, the effects unit that was doing the reverb, that's probably the more expensive piece there, and then
Oh, Eventide?
Eventide H90, yeah. And then I was using the sequencer and controller that I was using is also relatively new, so those actually cost more than the synths in this case. I can't afford, like, at some point I'm going to buy like a flagship Moog synth and whatever, but I don't have that kind of scratch at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. Yeah, it's interesting to see your progress over the last year and a half.
Thank you.
Improved way quite a bit. Yeah,
Thank you.
very
Really enjoying it.
very refined now. Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
In a good way. I mean, not refined like it's in precise. It's nice and organic and gritty, and it's good to see somebody doing stuff live too.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
timing.
hardware, real thing. Like whatever software you do, it doesn't feel like a material thing, right? Like this box producing these waves,
Mhm.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's an eternal challenge, right? Because at the end of the day, the digital stuff is so good now. There's no reason sonically to work with hardware. But for me, and this is sort of the journey that I've been on, right? When I started off almost 2 years ago now, I was working in Ableton and then Bitwig and whatever, and it's just they're great, but what I found I wanted to do was like get my hands on stuff and play instruments.
I guess the keyword is satisfying, right? So it's
Exactly.
not what you can achieve in terms of the sound. It's like I feel it that it's way more satisfying. I have no idea how to use it, but I always feel that it must be fun doing
It absolutely is. But the flip side is it'll never be as refined, like there's only so many effects I can put on, and the mix is like it is what it is, right? And I can't put 6 plugins and I have one compressor. So it's a different sort of balancing act, but I really do enjoy it.
But you do it well, and I was going to say your timing is excellent. So, I mean, to pull that off, I mean, I'm sure I'm assuming there's quantizing, but I don't know if I'm right about that. But if not, then it's even more impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, not on that lead line.
Really? Wow.
The bass and the Erebus, the Hades and the Erebus were sequenced. The kind of that main noodly melody was live and not quantized, and
Wow.
it was like 95% on time. couple of parts I stumbled, but there's enough of it there that it kind of
No,
washes
but
out.
that's the beauty of it, I know. I mean, you have to do it that well to appreciate, like, sometimes a little bit timing, but it's really well done. And
Thank you.
the effects, it came through. I mean, it sounds like it's expensive piece of equipment, but man, does that deliver.
Well,
I'm
thank you.
just so impressed by the richness of the sound, and then all of a sudden you just zip through with this lead line, which just totally caught me by surprise, and it was just so amazing to hear that. Yeah, I have a hard time even comprehending what you're doing. Like it's
Yeah,
great.
I'm totally cheating because the controller is locked into like a C minor scale, so basically there's no wrong notes. Uh, you know, you can do stuff where like you modulate into different modes, which will give it a different sound. But you know, those fast runs, I couldn't like do that on a piano because my fingers don't move that fast. But you basically just drag your finger along these buttons and it
Like,
does stuff.
seriously, I was just totally shocked. Okay, thanks for explaining that, but it's impressive.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
you.
Thomas will be at the Temper events November 30th. So you don't want to miss
Are you
him
opening,
in person.
Thomas?
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting, right? Because it's mostly a drum and bass event, I think.
Okay.
And I'm not very drum and bass at all, so it'll be.
No worries.
I think it'll be like a sort of an ambient soft start, and then it'll pick up. So I think you know,
I think
it'll
it'll
be.
work. We'll set
Yeah.
the tone. I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, this music is perfect as an intro, and then, you know, it's going to go into the
Yeah.
other stuff. But
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah. And I've got like some, you know, this is going to be the very first part, and it'll be the only part with no percussion. So then I've got some drum machines that'll come in after and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes, man.
yeah, I'm excited about it, and I think this kind of thing in a live performance always goes well because we like to see people actually manipulating like instruments and technology, and you do it so well, so it's like it's like a treat, frankly.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty. Right, Richard. You've been quiet tonight.
Until now. Love that piece, Thomas. It was great.
Your volume actually is kind of low. No.
Well, maybe that's why you're not hearing. Is this any better?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Better, yeah.
Okay. I'm on a sort of a makeshift system. Forgive me, but
Still very, very low.
Oops, you're muted now.
okay. Is this any better?
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
better.
Okay. So in the Zoom settings, my microphone volume had decreased for some magic reason. I don't know. Forgive me. Sorry about that. So maybe this will be a little bit different piece. The history of it is it started, I guess it was last summer. I worked through it through the fall, and I even think I played an early version of this back in the first part of this year. And then it just sort of went dormant for a while. And like you guys, I'm busy. I've done other stuff and started other pieces of music and stuff. But in the last, say, month or so, I've resurrected it because I'm thinking, you know, it's kind of coherent. I'm trying to finish it. And most of the work at this point has been in the mix. There's a lot. I'm exploring a group of compositions, and they're kind of dense. They have a lot of pieces a lot of parts in them. I'm calling it Baroque. You know, I'm thinking I'm setting up my own genre here. So I don't know. Maybe you heard it here first. But it's a one piece in a series, a lot of pieces, a lot of stuff going on. So the mixing has been a big challenge. I'm not that good at it. It has, well, you know, it's all about the mix at this point because I'm trying to finish it. It has been a bit equalized. It has not been mastered. There's no compression, so you might want to turn your sound up so you can hear it. So it's likely to be a little bit faint. It's 5.5 minutes or something like that. And it's kind of dancey music, but it's dancing in a different way. So tell me what you think.
Right, let's check it out.
Yeah, really, really great work on the arrangement and the melodic content. Yeah, just it needs a little polish or something, and that's a awesome track. Really well done.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
It sounded very different listening to it tonight through YouTube than through my
Oh
own
yeah,
system, and very flat. But that's why you need to listen to these things on different formats, because
Mhm.
you think it sounds one way, and in reality, it's not. So
Yeah, I really appreciate your chops on the arrangement there and just being able to weave all those complex melodies and
Mm.
percussion and drums together. It just felt so natural and yeah, didn't seem like it seemed almost effortless, even though I know there was a lot of effort put into that. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
making a nice transition is that seems easy is hard to do, I guess. Is
Mhm.
Well, you do it
what I would
well,
say.
and I was going to say the top end is especially clean. I agree it could use some bottom end, like on the drum side of things,
Yep.
as Phil mentioned. But like the top end, and I like cymbals and I like those kinds of sounds, and you went to town with it, and it's a pleasure.
And in this mix, I did pull the drums down, Phil, and so now I'm thinking, damn, should have left them the way they were. So
Yeah, just needed. I think I've gone to a few concerts together, and just hearing that kind of mix, I felt like your content and stuff is right there with some of the best stuff that we've gone to see. And I think, yeah, you just need to focus not drop those drums and percussion back too far because they really play a component in that genre of music, if you will.
definitely see the value in working with a producer. It's a lot to have a musical idea and develop the idea, record it, all of that stuff, and then to mix it all down and to master it and make it sound fantastic. I mean, those are all different skills, right? Some
Mhm.
people are that talented. Get, I'm not, but
Yeah,
so
I'd be
Well,
willing
it's
to work with you on the mix if you want.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know I dropped the ball a little bit on your friend's stuff, but I'm starting to get back into it.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff happening next year. So thanks
No,
for the feedback.
it's
I
a good
always
point though,
like your.
Richard. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I always like what you're doing, Richard, and it's just so organic, and the sounds are just beautiful. The way you weave them all together and the transitions is
Thank you.
terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You're the master of two things, in my view. You're the master of making something organic and just sound like somebody's just playing and then just having a jamming in front of me. And also the master of making a long piece not seem long. Because I never tie this piece is it's more than just 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, but it doesn't sound it never feels long because you
Wow,
just
that's great.
pander and
Fantastic.
you're taking us away and you're bringing us back. Um, awesome as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was just going to tag along to what you're saying there, Richard, about everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Some people are just Renaissance men and whatever, and they can do it all. But sometimes it's good to collaborate and have other people do parts of it. I'm going to be outsourcing my album covers, for example, because I'm just sick and tired of doing them, to be honest with you. And I feel someone else can breathe some new life. But that's just one example. I was on another meetup where they're talking about this was more song construction with like multiple people, but like writing pieces for actual performers. But he knew that as a drummer he wasn't so great, so he's like, get a drummer, get someone who actually knows how to play drums really well in that context. But yeah, for electronic music, we really are expected to do a lot. I mean, when you really think about the past versus now, in the olden times, it was more, distribution of labor or however you want to term it. And it's like, we even have video now, right? Like if you think about it, it's like another dimension. It's like, wow, video, sound, engineering, you know, but anyway, I guess I'm kind of just repeating what you said, but it's very true. It's very true. But great stuff. I always enjoy listening to your stuff, and I agree with Jill. I never get tired of your music.
Great feedback. Thank you very much. There's more.
Well,
It's
we're
coming.
here to
It's
hear it,
coming.
man.
It's coming.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and play this tune. It's drum and bass, big surprise. I've been trying to do a few things, but I'll talk about it afterwards and let you guys hear it and get your feedback. So let's give it a listen.
Very good.
Monster tune, dude.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you guys liked it. I have to admit, I was hesitant. I was like, I don't know.
So good.
Yes.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
You see how everyone woke up?
Yeah.
Holy,
So good.
you took us on a journey, but a different type of journey. Like, whoa, smokes! Like it just changes, and it's very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, I've never heard anything like that from you, Lenny. Like this is usually your tracks kind of stay the same, and you know they'll change a little bit. This here, like, holy smokes!
Well, that session with current value was worth it. I'm telling you. You know, I really was inspired. Frankly, it was a while ago, but it really stuck with me, and I don't know if that's what did it. I mentioned last time too. I'm using a lot of DJ effects like loop roll, and then putting it back into the DAW, and it's actually a longer piece. I kind of shocked myself when I heard it. I'm like, this is like a pretty long track, and I don't get tired. That was the one thing, and
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was enough variety. It just kept. I mean, obviously, the end you're leaving some room to mix in and stuff, but yeah, I mean the whole track just kept me going the whole time.
And you know, I wasn't sure about the track myself. Like I would, and then I threw it into a DJ mix, and I was like, oh, this is actually better than the tune that I'm mixing out of. Like this is rare. You know what I mean? Usually it's the other way around, right? So I'm like, that's a good sign. But still, you know, someone mentioned dirt. For me, dirt comes natural. Like I always strive for a clean sound, and it never really quite happens. To be straight up honest with you, I'm just being honest. Like you know, I know you're saying like some people they have so much clean sound, they're trying to add dirt. I really don't have that issue. Like I got dirt by the tons, you know. But
Well, it's so exciting, Lenny, and it's got so much personality. I'm just like smiling and laughing as I'm listening to it. It's just so great. Thank you. It's good.
thanks. And the beats, you know, what I've been doing a lot is analyzing a lot of other tracks, and I'll pick out the kicks and snares, you know, and a lot of times it's not actually that complicated, frankly, but it's all about kind of the parts in the middle, I guess, um, and then I did a little bit of a switch up on the second part. You know what I mean? So after the second drop, it's like you don't want to just constantly just repeat the same thing. So kind of did a few alterations, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I'll say, Lenny, it reeks of attention to detail.
really.
I think so. Like it's very intentional. At least it felt that way to me. Like you made a lot of specific choices about you know, where things were going to change or what the breakdowns were going to be, and I think it really works.
Yeah, I guess I put the structure in a certain way, and actually the the breakdown part. I mean, it could have just gone on and on and on. I'm like, okay, I got to go back into a beat at some point because it's just like it keeps meandering. You know what I mean? And the other thing I'll say is I've been trying to like fatten those parts. I felt like a lot of my other tracks it got real thin, right? Like in the so so I'm just adding like duplication of layers. So I'll have like two instruments, three instruments, and one of them might be a little bit slightly, you know, off a tiny bit, but yeah, I you know, I was pleased with those sections especially, you know, and there's a lot of sub bass too. That's the other thing I'll say. So back to Peter's point, like this track will, you know, there's a lot of sub bass is all I'm saying. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And yeah, I'll be playing this on November 30th. It's my plan is to anyhow. And I'm curious to hear how it will sound. You know what I mean? I haven't actually heard it on a proper system, to be honest with you. I've heard it on my car, and it's not really the right, you know, approximation. But
Well, I'm planning to be there, so I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Speaking
Both
of
of you.
the subs, literally seconds ago, somebody shared this link. It's just 1 minute, but it explains what I tried to explain in my non-scientific way. It's literally like a minute of explanation of what this actually does to the body. It's kind of cool. So either now or later, you guys, if you're curious, what I was trying to explain, like in my very limited way, these
I
guys
can
right on. Can you
I can
play it?
yeah, I can try to play it through Zoom
Okay,
here.
cool. It's little less. It's about a minute thing, like, but they're so concise and they kind of tell exactly what it
Sure.
does. It's applicable to the techno I tried to play, and this drum and bass track, like, I mean, that is sub heavy, like, and it does these things, but this one specifically about
Sure,
the
sure.
runner. I tried
The
that.
only thing I'll say is sometimes it's hard to control the play with the Instagram, so bear with me. I'm gonna try to like refresh it, but we'll get the whole thing one way or the other.
It's kind of highly optional, but if you
No,
can,
no, no, no. It's good, man. Let's do it. Okay, sound. Let me see if I can. Is it gonna work? Okay. Oh, no sound.
does anybody get any sound from this? No? Does anybody?
No sound. No.
Oh, you guys can't hear? Shit. I can hear to my ears.
No sound. Yeah.
Fuck.
Sorry, that's
You know what? I think I have to share sound. You know what it is?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry about that. Share. Let me do that again. Apologize. I was listening to it. I'm like, this is cool, man. And I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear it. Sorry about that. Where the hell do you have that off? Share sound. Okay. Let's do this again. Sorry about that.
Hypnotic techno, particularly its use of polyrhythms, can have a profound effect on the brain. Polyrhythms, multiple rhythms played simultaneously, challenge the brain's natural tendency to process patterns linearly. This results in a shift in neural activity as the brain attempts to synchronize with complex, overlapping beats. As the auditory cortex processes these rhythms, brain waves can become entrained at the tempo of the music. This entrainment often leads to increased alpha and theta wave activity, associated with relaxed and meditative states. In some cases, polyrhythmic patterns can also stimulate gamma waves linked to heightened focus and cognitive function. The repetitive and evolving nature of hypnotic techno can promote a state of flow, specifically during meditation, where the brain bypasses routine conscious thought, inducing a trance-like experience. This effect may trigger the release of dopamine, enhancing both mood and motivation, while reducing stress and anxiety. Thus, the rhythmic complexity of this genre not only engages the auditory pathways, but also encourages a meditative and euphoric mental state.
Cool.
Again, I knew there was some science behind it, but they just said that.
You guys right here able to hear that okay?
Yeah,
You
thank
gave me the thumbs up. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of science, man. It's true. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Like sometimes I meet like I hate to say boomers, but you know, like, oh, we only like rock and roll, you know, all this electronic music. You know what I mean? That kind of attitude. And I'm like, look, you know, I'm like, oh, it's all been done before. But the scientific part is brand new. That's what I'm saying. Like we're in an era now where we've reached a dynamic range that was never present in previous musical history, in my opinion. So for that alone, I think there's a lot of merit to kind of explore this side of things. But
Notice the subtitles that mentioned the artist I was mentioning, same group of artists. So, like, if you kind of care about like a reference, what I was talking about, just those guys who mastered this, might as well do a little research on, play a few more tracks from them because they're like a setting that is the stage, like in terms of like this hypnotic effects of subs and things like that. Sort of like pioneering all this stuff right now. So anyway, it's a link that you might reuse just to kind of learn about this a little bit more.
Awesome. Yep. Oops. Just triggered it again in my own thing here. So I guess Jeff, you're the last contestant tonight. So anything you want to say before you?
This came together way too fast, so it's a little muddy. I could really use a bit of help on this because it needs a break in here somewhere. I feel like I'm just using like two thumbs. Like after I'm missing a lot of the richness that I'm hearing here today. But anyway, sure, go ahead and put it on there, Lenny, and appreciate any feedback.
All right, let's go to listen.
Very cool. Yeah, hey Lenny, I was gonna tell you on Audius, if you click on that album cover in the lower left image, it actually throws a little audio meter thing graphic that you can kind of spin around and see.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway.
I'll try that next time. So let me just, there's like a little icon. Oh, okay, a visualizer. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, anyway, just a little something.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Thanks.
Very cool, Jeff. Like I said, it's very organic. It's very playful, and reminds me a bit of Richard, where it takes you on a journey and you're just playing with us. Something, at one point you've got the drums, like at least for half of the track, I think you have the drum. They're really busy. If you want a bit of change, you could just drop just make them very simple for a while, for several.
Yeah, I want to do something a little different with the drums. I do think
just go back into it just with some punch, because they're very fast, they're very busy, they're great. But I think if you juxtapose them with something a little simpler, then when they come in, they'll have a bigger bang. That's my own.
Thanks for that, Gilles. I'm looking for something. That's the thing. I want to come back and find a break in there somewhere. Maybe the song could be shorter and it could use a break in the drum. I just haven't had the time to really figure out what that would be. Sometimes simple is the most difficult.
But you've got the basis of the song there, though.
Yeah, there was a point in there where I felt like it was a placeholder that said break goes here. It was a part where I think some of the instruments dropped out and there was the drum was there, and I felt like, okay, this is where you're planning to put the break. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it's sort of it's there waiting for you, I think.
Thank you. I just got to figure what,
sometimes you just leave it alone for a day or two and it just comes.
Yeah, this song came together too quickly. It was like it wasn't there and all of a sudden it was all there, but I haven't had a time to really grasp it yet. Yeah. So thank you, Peter. Yeah.
Kind of a sudden end too. I mean, I know it's probably on purpose, but but whatever. It works if that's what you're after. I don't think anyone would argue with you if you had a little bit more of a tail or whatever.
Those of us who DJ don't care about that at all. It would just go into a different track. So how it suddenly starts or suddenly ends, who cares?
It's extremely minor. I know.
But if you're a DJ, it's not minor. No, I'm sure. Yeah.
It goes both ways. It depends. If you're a vinyl DJ, it's less minor, I suppose. But like with all the looping and stuff you can do these days, like we're kind of spoiled, frankly. But maybe some more bottom end. I don't know. Like if
she'll mention that too. Yeah, I have to figure out where that is, because the bass as such is a little bit more to the middle, and so to get that lower, that was the thing that I was most concerned about with this song. That at one point that there wasn't enough bottom. I mean, it does seem to be okay, but I'd like to find something a bit more there, but I'm not sure what it would be like. Because it's not volume. It would need to be something else.
Yeah, there are some VSTs, and I'm not saying you necessarily want to go in this area, but it's something to think about where you will add an octave down, so you can actually add a duplicate layer, and it has like so it thickens it.
I can do that easily, but I didn't even think of that, Lenny. Good idea.
It may not be appropriate. I always caution what I say because I don't want to mislead anyone. But I'm just saying in general, sometimes I've thought, you know what? I wish the drums were like thicker and heavier.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will do the trick. Sometimes, it's not necessary, basically. It's just all about what you're trying to accomplish. But kind of a trade-off as well, because you know what I mean? It can make it I don't know. It can even be a situation where I've actually doubled up drums many times. So that's another angle, but that's probably overkill for this type of a track, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's called Subfilter. There's an actual VST called Subfilter. It's not very expensive either. I think it's like $10. I think there's a free one even, if I'm not mistaken.
Subfilter.
You've used that, right? Plugin Alliance,
or Plugin Alliance. That's what it is. Plugin Alliance. Yeah, look on Plugin Alliance. They have some freebies that I think one of those is subharmonic generator or something like that.
Okay. And that was Plug Alliance?
Plugin Alliance.
All righty.
They're a part of Native Instruments now, but
okay.
They probably got a lot of Black Friday specials going too. You'll be like seeing that from every vendor. It's probably a good time to pick up any VST that you've had your eyes on, probably, and thinking about, this is the time where they'll have a bunch of discounts. So.
Plus, if you get a Christmas bonus, you can spend it all on that.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, well, we're right up on 10 o'clock, so perfect timing. And I just want to thank everyone once again for, making this a really good meetup. Had a
lot of great.
A lot of great music, a lot of great. This is what it's all about. That's why, I'm really happy to be part of it, and so yeah, it's good to see some of the older time members come back again. So just keep your eyes out on Meetup and Facebook. Mostly that's where we post all the Meetup info. And if you want to throw a thumbs up on the YouTube stream, hey, I'm not going to argue with you either. But basically, it is archived. So at the end of the day, I always said this before, we never really meant for this to be for public consumption, but at the end of the day, if other people can benefit from it, and also it's promotion as well for you, so I feel like it, it's like a win-win. So
awesome. Well, thanks for organizing. This was a really good meetup. Really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone for all your contributions. It's very inspiring.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and hope to see you next week, and all the best.
Month, you mean?
Take care.
Oh,
have a great night.
Yeah. I won't be there, but next month, definitely.
All right then. Yep.
Everybody.
Take care.
Cheers.
See you.